rubber road and steel. I live behind the wheel. Just let me tell you all about the places I have been. The interstates are calling, the miles they are falling, and it will take no time before I break down that road to home again.
What's funny is they just say that they give me the trailer number and say, yeah, it's such and such trailer, just go ahead and hook up and you can go. I don't have to sign anything or anything. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna go get my trailer and we'll be off. And I haven't decided what we're gonna do today yet. And we'll get the paperwork all together and then we'll be on our way. And they left us the paperwork here. And I always like to check it out. Make sure it's okay. Yeah, we're going to Bozeman, Montana. Billings. Couple locations in Billings. Wow, am I glad I checked, because none of the addresses that are in my computer are what's on the invoice. So I got to go back in and check with her and make sure we're okay. I'm going to write down all of the places that I'm supposed to go and just double check. I don't want to get all the way to Montana with the wrong stuff. None of I went and checked with her. She says hers are right and mine are wrong. So now I gotta marry the two together, and that's almost impossible because my dispatchers are in Phoenix. So gotta get this worked out. All right, there's no glamour in this trip. All right, what happened was our order takers in my carrier put in a dummy order just to get it in the works, and whereas what's on this paperwork is where I'm going. So now I have to call my dispatcher and tell him that, and that's going to be a nightmare. So it's basically the same trip, but it's just the addresses are different. It's only the addresses that are wrong. Well, we got everything squared away with the paperwork. And it was like they said, they put in the wrong trip on purpose just to make a trip there. And then they knew they were going to correct it later. That's what the order taker told me. So that's all solved. Now I'm just kind of enjoying the scenery out here in North Bend, Washington, just east of Seattle. It's a beautiful truck stop, nice area. We're going up over Snoqualmie Pass right now, which is just outside of Seattle. Sure is nicer doing this in the summer than it is in the winter. Although it can be picturesque in the winter, I will admit that. Ironically, just hit the Petro here in Spokane, Washington. Beautiful day. And gonna go now to Idaho and then Montana. I like this Petro. You know, one thing about this Petro I mentioned about the food, and this is one reason. You can't go wrong eating a barbecue sandwich like that, pulled pork. It really tastes as good as it looks too. So, in my book, Petro, Spokane, this sandwich gets a 10. Today, so far, we've gone 262 miles. And we're going to travel another 292 miles. Hopefully I'll have enough hours. I'm going to try to make it to Butte, Montana.
Crossing border, entering Idaho.
And coming into Idaho here, they're like one of those states that really like their scales, so more than likely I'll be going through the scales. I don't care. I'm light, man. We're hauling mattresses. So we're just the other side of Lookout Pass here in Montana now. We crossed over into the Montana side of things. And that was about a pass of 4,000 feet. So now we're heading on. Let's continue our journey on to hardcore Montana. If this is a spot or not, but it looks like it. Everybody else is parked here. Isn't that the trucker's motto? If everybody else is doing it, can I do it too? The first thing you gotta do is shut your clock off. Otherwise it does that. 58, 2, now sending yes. This is really a detail of my logs. This is what I see. And I'm on the Qualcomm version of logging. And it shows you here that I drove 544 miles. I have 0 time left. I drove for 9 hours and 27 minutes. I was on duty for that amount of time. And I have exactly 70 hours used this week. And then if I scroll down here, you can see every time I changed the setting. And I know it's confusing for those of you that don't know what logs are, but I'd like to see what other people's looks like. That's why I'm showing you this one. So tomorrow I'll be gaining back the amount of hours that I drove 8 hours or 8 days ago. I'll explain that. It's 39 degrees and it's in June. But it is Montana. It'll probably get up in the 80s today, I'm sure. All right, pre-trip done, check. Coffee, check. Sausage biscuit with cheese, white eggs, check. We're ready to roll. An adventure is going someplace you've never been before. And that's certainly trucking. I don't see it. You know, hotels usually have big signs, but this one doesn't. Bozeman, Montana. There it is. Maybe I can fit right next to that Safeway truck. Almost like a little service road. I hate going in there, man. Sometimes you go, oh man, look at that. Maybe I can park right there, and then whittle around the back. Yeah, this is it.
Guy walks into a bar and says, "Hey bartender, you want to hear a blonde joke?" The bartender says, "Well, I don't know. I'm 6'2".
All right, made my one delivery. Never done that before. Gonna seal her up and get rolling here. I went to a little shop next door and they have these caramel cookie wafers. Since I'm Swedish, this is something we would have had around our house as kids. My dad always liked to buy Swedish things, and this is more Dutch than it is Swedish, but anything like this reminds me of my dad. It's funny of the things that can remind us of our childhood. So, Dad, this is for you. Hey, I got lucky. They're going to take my delivery early, so I'm happy. They're going to be unloading me at any time here at Sam's Club in Billings, Montana. As I always say, thanks for riding along with me. Remember that trucking's an adventure. I'm Indiana Jack.